What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Welcome to Betting with the Bag here on odds.com headquarters on our new time, 10 a.m. Eastern. As Viper NB says, the early bird gets the worm. Starting up at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. on the West Coast, which is not going to be easy for our Noli Knows, who will be live tomorrow at 7 a.m. Thank you guys so much for joining us. A new week begins here, Betting with the Bag. We go Tuesday through Saturday, and we have a full MLB card, a giant MLB card. We've got a good season so far. We have NL joining us to break down this MLB card. NHL, we are rolling. We've hit 7 of our last 8, 6 of those 7 at plus money, which is nice. And NBA, we're actually we had a little rough spot there in the bubble about a week and a half ago, but we've gotten out of that. We're rolling again in NBA, so all is good. All is good. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We got BuzzNut721 in the house. Shane Schwader ready to get to work. Jug in Finesse. Viper NB. Leo Leon. Ostino Liggett ready to go. Jug and Finesse taking the Thunder over the Rockets, the Westbrook-less Rockets. Understandable. There's Jeffrey Murnane in the house, like in the Heat money line. Sean Dozer. There's Mississippi Kid ready to get to work. Beach Boss. I don't know if you guys see what Beach Boss has rolling, but a giant open parlay ticket right now with 8 UFC winners already up. 25 grand of possible winnings for our Beach Boss. Very, very exciting. There's a Will Turpin in the house. Says, good morning, cappers. Rye Cape. Now that we've moved early, Rye Cape ready to go and work. There is TJ. Says, no props for the show with the new time. I get it. It's going to be some changes with the new time. For me, Bet365 puts out their 5-inning plays. Well, they're not even out yet. Usually by 10 a.m., but they're not out yet, so it's gonna change some things. There's Ixnizzle in the house. Joe Rich Ramirez, Derek C in the house, or Zed if you're in Canada. Danny Moore, Sean Dozier, what a great group. Jordy Nordman, Swerve it. Slats 45 says time to make the donuts. Habs plus 115. Habs under 5. Flames plus 105. Wow, Slats. I need to talk these games out because if it wasn't for Dallas's special teams, I'd be all over them again. There's Bill McHugh in the house. R2D2 Finland. Joey Spencer fights this Saturday. R2D2 Finland's nephew, Joey Spencer. Very exciting. What a beast he is. There's Paco Healy. Look at this. Paco Healy rolling into work. 7 a.m. Paco Healy, a first responder who means so much to the San Diego area for all he does, and to us, and to low baggers everywhere. JL, Pedro Barbosa in the house. Pedro, what's happening? Jason Lowry. We got Shogun Soup in the house. First-time listener ready to smash Vegas. There's Nick Dillard. Dutch Boy Fresh. Look at that. Wifey does not approve of the new time, but Dutch Boy Fresh, 7 a.m. for our man Dutch Boy Fresh. And we need Dutch Boy Fresh in the chat to talk NBA. He is a spectacular NBA capper. PG00187. Jason Lowry. We got Birdie. Dylan Turner. Jay Yim. What a great group. And it is Zed. Okay, Derek Zed. Okay, it is Zed, not Z. He's in Canada. Respect. All right. Okay, time to get to work. Mr. Wisdom, we got Carlos Jetton. We got Hustle Wilson. Man, we got the Die Hard MMA podcast in the house. I love it. Okay, let's get to work. We have an enormous card we need to break down. There's Billy Brisbane. Let's get to work right now. Leo Leon says, I'm a Stars fan. Glad they won in overtime, but the Flames were outplaying them, in my opinion. They were fortunate to win. I still don't trust the Flames. I mean, Sam Bennett is doing everything that I thought he was capable of. And Lucic is being spectacular. And that still doesn't make them a better team than Dallas to me. It makes them better than what they were. We're going to get into hockey last. We're going to go MLB, NBA, NHL. Let's bring in our MLB expert, Ant L in the house. What's happening, Ant? How are you, my man?
Just waking up.
Yeah.
Nah, I've been up for a couple hours, but yeah, I like that Z better than Z. That's probably something Americans should go towards. I think we might be the only English-speaking country that says Z.
You know,
I don't know.
We're in the metric system either, so we've given up.
No, that is actually not true. We are taught the metric system. Like, well, maybe idiots don't know the metric system, but a lot of Americans know the metric system. We just don't use it that often. But we're taught the metric system. Come on.
Well, Antonio Davis came up to Toronto and was angry that his children were learning the metric system.
Well, that's okay. We're taught the metric system, all right? Like, all our scientists use it. Like, scientists don't measure stuff in gallons.
That's valid. That's valid.
No. We also need to go towards the decimal odd system that the Europeans use. Oh, my God, it's so awesome.
Yeah, I've just raised with this system, but I can understand it's easier. And when I put in all my numbers in my spreadsheets, I have to use the decimal system anyways.
Oh, yeah.
At Young Chillionaire in the house, in the hospital. Wife is ready to pop out. Baby number 2. Good luck, Lowbag fam, today at Young Chillionaire. To you, your beautiful wife, your family. We send you all the positivity. Good luck over the next however long it will take. That baby.
Beach boss.
Love and positivity. There we go, right there. All right. Let's get to work right now. Dylan Turner says, first period under in Montreal game. You know, before I saw Slats' confidence on the under 5 in that game, I kind of had some interest in that over 5. But I need to talk everything out. There's Rob T in the house. Viper and B says Antonio Davis is a bum. All right, Raj making moves on Clippers, Celtics, Raptors, Nuggets. All right, let's get to work right now and fire away. We are going to start with Rockies, Astros. We will just go through in order of baseball. So if you are watching late, that's how you know if you need to skip ahead or whatnot. We're going to start with this Rockies game. Let's get over to the Bet365 opening lines here. Full game, money lines and totals. And Zenzatella versus Greinke. And Houston opens up at minus 185, and it was minus 210 about an hour and a half ago. There has been 10 cents of buyback on the Colorado Rockies. This total opened over 9 at minus 115. It's now juiced to the under 9 at minus 115. Rye Cape says Greinke is dealing, and he certainly is. 1-0, 2.53 ERA, 1.08 whip, 21 in the third, 18 Ks, 4 walks, 0 home runs. His last start was extremely important. The Astros were moving in the wrong direction, and he seemed to calm everything down. And the starters have a 1.68 ERA over the past 11 games. They've worked at least 5 innings in 10 of those starts while allowing 1 run or less. Going up against Senzatella, 3-0, 3.91 ERA, 1.26 whip. Remember, his numbers last year were putrid. He's gotten off to a good start. Rockies versus righties, 259, 760 OPS. Astros versus righties, 221, 678 OPS. Also looks like the Astros bullpen has sort of found themselves here. They looked like they were in big trouble with some early injuries, but they've got their shit together. 3.53 ERA, 1.55 whip. Rockies bullpen, 4.76 ERA, 1.37 whip. As we said, Greinke, 1 run, 7 hits, 1 walk. Last start, 2-1, 3.09 ERA over 5 starts last year against the Rockies. 14-7, 3.66 ERA, and 35 appearances against the Rockies. Rockies have lost 6 of 8, and Zenzatella is coming off his worst start of the year. And Rockies, Astros, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so this is one of those games where, like, the right team is obviously favored. Like, you never have a minus 200 favorite that should be an underdog, but I think it's too bloated here. Greinke has looked really good at the beginning of the year. His numbers have been great. He stepped it up, and he's been an ace in the league for a decade now for a reason. Senzatella, he was kind of a trash can for a couple of years, but he's turned it around a bit this year. He had a rough start in his last start, but I kind of believe that he'll be a serviceable starter going forward. Like, most of his numbers have looked pretty decent this season. His walk rate's gone down. His strikeout rate's gone a little bit up. So when I see that his walk rate's going down, his strikeout rate's going up, I see there's some good stuff in the metrics there going forward with him. One game doesn't say all for the Astros bullpen. Both these bullpens are pretty average, especially over the last 2 weeks. Both of them have ERAs over 5. The Astros FIP and xFIP are also closing in on 6 over the last couple of weeks. The offenses are pretty close. When you look at offensive numbers, you have to just look at the Rockies WRC plus number, because batting average, weighted on base average, those are not adjusted for park differences. But that number, the WRC plus number, which I talk about every single time I talk about offenses on this show, that is park adjusted. So that is why that number is so important, because it balances out hitting in Coors Field versus, hitting in Tropicana Field, which is one of the worst hitters park in the league. So when you look at the WRC plus numbers for these two teams, the Astros have a better offense. They're at 104. That's 4 points higher than average. And the Rockies offense is right about average. When you balance all these numbers out, the Astros should be a favorite here. That's no question, but they should not be minus 200. I actually am looking at this. I'm taking the value number here. I got this game lined at right around minus 140, plus 140. So since I think the true number on this game should be about plus 140 for the Rockies, and I'm getting plus 185, I took a stab on the Rockies. To me, that's just too much line value to pass up. So I have my play on this game is on the Rockies at plus 185 right now. You can get them. And that's my look on this game.
Beach Boss agrees. Beach Boss agrees the Rockies have the value. I think Senzatella will continue to show signs of what we saw from him last year.
Yeah, he's mediocre. There's no doubt that Senzatella is a mediocre pitcher. I don't think he's going to be a trash can going forward. He was a trash can last year. I think he could step up to the mediocre range.
Well, yeah, and he's been better than mediocre until that last start. Houston Astros team total over 4.5 minus 135. Rockies team total over 3.5 at minus 1.
Yeah, that might be a look. That Astros team total is a little bit sketchy though, because you're dealing with home team totals that are heavily juiced to the over. Mm-hmm. I don't like looking at those, because you could always lose the bottom of the ninth.
I feel you. I'm hesitant to make a move. By the way, on Saturday, I went 2-4 in MLB and dropped 2 point. I think.
Oh yeah, I want to apologize for Saturday. That was my worst. That was my worst day of the year at MLB. That was so. I apologize for people who tailed us on that day. It's my first losing day with you.
Yeah,
I think I went like 1-5 on my plays. It was brutal. It
was rough. So yeah. I'm sitting here at 55-45 plus 4.07 units. So straight 100 games right now. So 4.07% ROI, and my average line is now minus 111 and creeping up quickly. R2D2 says I'll go under on Astros, and then our Connor Mack like in the over on Astros. Do you have any lean with the total?
Not really. I tweeted out last night, if anyone follows me on Twitter, that I think I might be done with full game totals for a while, because that's what's killed my ROI this year. I've had a lot of luck with first 5 totals. I've been doing very well with sides all season long. But man, for some reason I bet an over, it's a 2-1 game. I bet an under, it's 14-6. It's just like no matter what. Or yesterday, let me just vent this real quick. I have an over in the White Sox game. They hit 6 home runs, and I lose. I lose an over in a game where the White Sox hit 6 home runs. How does that? So I'm like, you know what? I'm done betting full game totals. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been wild. It's been a wild year so far. Connor Mack says me too. And we have Prince of the City in the house. Why you up and on so early? Our new time. 10 a.m. Eastern. Thank you guys for getting up early and joining us. All right, let's move on to Padres, Rangers. We have Ant on the board, and he got a nice number on the Rockies, plus 185. I've yet to make a move. Let's go Padres, Rangers. I was trying to get roof data from all these teams, and it was difficult to get the up-to-date information. So I don't know what's going on with Texas. The only one I got confirmation on was Arizona, where the roof is closed. 92 Fahrenheit clear, 11 miles per hour. We have Adrian Moreon 21-year-old Cuban here at Double-A Amarillo last year, 0-4, 4.25 ERA, 1.22 WHIP, 36 innings, 44 Ks, and 15 walks. We have young studs pitching today, and they all have a very high strikeout rate. And Adrian Moron is one of them. He's one of them, and he's got this famed international group that the Padres signed in 2016. He is a big part of it. Going up against Mike Minor, 0-3, 5.49 ERA, 1.27 WHIP, 19 2/3, 19 Ks, 8 walks, 2 homers allowed. He looked a little better in his last start. San Diego opening up as minus 135 favorites, and that's where they still are at Bet365, but other books have moved it up to 30 cents in the other direction. The total moved at 8.5 to 9, and now there's 9.5s on the board. Padres versus lefties, 217, 718 OPS. Rangers versus lefties, 236, 692 OPS. Those of you who watched this game last night saw Tatis. They were up 10-4 in a 3-0 count, and the sign was to let the pitch go. And he grand slam home run, and took a little bit of time to watch it, and really pissed off the other team. So they threw behind Manny Machado in the next at bat.
If you don't want Fernando Tatis to hit a grand slam on you, don't throw a 3-0 cookie. Who gives a shit what his manager told him? It was a 3-0 meatball right down the middle against one of the best hitters in the game. There is no controversy. The Rangers are just kicking and screaming because they got their ass kicked. It's professional baseball. These are not college kids where you pull your starters out at halftime because Bama's up 55-0 against Mercer. All these players are making $1 million a year. They're professionals. If you don't want your fucking ass kicked, don't throw a meatball down the middle. Thank you, Fernando Tatis. You watch that home run. You admire that grand slam. You take your sweet time going around the bases. You blow kisses to the pitcher for throwing you that meatball.
Okay, I love it. And both bullpens have been throwing a lot of meatballs. Padres bullpen 6.19 ERA, 1.45 WHIP. Rangers bullpen 5.3 ERA, 1.47 WHIP. And Minor 2-3 against Padres, 4.06 ERA in his career, and just doesn't look good right now. Doesn't have the velocity. It's gone up a little bit in his last start. Here we go. Padres, Rangers, and are you making a move here?
I have not. This is one of 2 games on the card I have not capped because I didn't have any pitching confirmation from the Padres for a while, so I didn't even get a line for this game until this morning. Just kind of cursory information. It looks like the Padres are doing a bullpen game. Their bullpen's been their numbers and their bullpen have been pretty weak this year, but they do have a high upside bullpen. I don't like Mike Minor. Given the number, I'm looking at like minus 115s for the Padres. I would lean Padres in this spot. I don't really want to take the Rangers at this price with Mike Minor pitching. Normally, the only time I'm trying to back the Rangers is if Lance Lynn is on the mound. So for now, this game's a pass. I could wind up betting it after I look into it more, but I haven't capped it yet. But basically just kind of glancing at the line, minus 115 on the Padres, looks like there could be some value there because I just kind of know what the numbers are going to say. I know the model hates Mike Minor, and I know the Rangers offense is terrible. So that all kind of worked in there. I kind of know the Padres will probably come out as a favorite once I input the numbers.
Yeah, interesting. Let's we're gonna close up with NHL. We're gonna break down this big MLB card with our NL Sports here right now. I guess the question is, you got a 21-year-old kid pitching, and that's the only concern. But the concern is lessened when you look at the Rangers stats versus lefties. They're weak. So they just beat them 14-4. I agree with you. Why do you think the market's moving in the Rangers' direction?
Probably trying to fade I'm not even sure. I don't know. I'm still looking at a minus 115 for the Padres, plus 105 on the Rangers. I maybe people like Minor for some reason. I don't know. I don't like this. I haven't looked at this game too heavily.
The 21-year-old is the Padres' number 7 prospect and number 2 left-hand pitching prospect. All right, Beach Boss liking San Diego at that number. He's getting a -118. All right, let's move on to Giants, Angels, Cahill, Bundy, and Noli Noah's talked quite a bit about the giving up 4 prospects for Bundy. There's obviously experts in the Angels brass that really believed in Bundy, and he's looked very good. His whip is number 1 in Major League Baseball. The Angels opened up at -230. They're now -245, a 15-cent move towards them. This total was initially juiced to the under 9.5. It's now juiced to the over 9.5. There's Red Girl in the house. Great to see Red Girl. Good morning. Viper MB says, never thought Bundy would be -250. Giants are on a losing streak now, 8-16, and losing in just heartbreaking fashion day after day. I don't know why it makes me laugh. 93, 8 miles per hour out to right field. We have Cahill. Cahill was on a very strict pitch count last start, so he had 4 walks in 1 2/3, and they pulled him, but he didn't allow an earned run. Bundy, as I'm saying, 3-1, 1.57 ERA, 0.63 whip. 35 Ks, 3 walks, 2 homers. Looks good. Giants versus righties, 247, 688 OPS. Angels versus righties, 245, 796 OPS. In the past 5 games, all losses. San Francisco's bullpen, 0-4, 12.19 ERA, giving up 29 runs, 9 homers in just 20 1/3. And, man, Cahill, these guys, the Angels know him well. He did not look good last year. 4-9, 5.98 ERA, and a $9 million deal. And now we have this huge favorite in the Angels in Dylan Bundy. And how do you attack this spot?
This is kind of a tough spot for me because I believe in Dylan Bundy. I mentioned it earlier that, most of the sabermetric crowd all were high on Dylan Bundy's upside, and he's kind of showing it this year. So it's kind of nice to finally feel like we're justified in wanting to back Bundy, that he's gotten away from the Orioles and he's just looked really good this year. Cahill's one of those guys where I think his last good season was 2016 as a reliever for the Cubs when the Cubs won the World Series. Thank you, Cubs, for winning that World Series. But that's like his last decent season. He's one of those guys where he'll go out there and you'll wonder how the hell he went 6 innings and gave up no runs. And then the next game, he'll go out there and get lit up for 7 runs in 2 innings. So he's one of those guys who's hit and miss with that stuff. And then you look at the bullpen, you're right, that San Francisco bullpen's been terrible. Their ERA, their FIP, their xFIP numbers are all over 5 on the season. They're not striking guys out of the bullpen. Their bullpen K per 9 inning is only 7.5, which is pretty terrible. Like I mentioned before, you want put away stuff in your bullpen. You want guys who are going to strike out 9 guys per 9 innings. You want at least 1 inning, 1 K per inning out of your bullpen, and you're not getting that from the San Francisco bullpen, and they're walking a lot of guys too. On the other hand, the Angels bullpen, it's been mediocre, but all their numbers are still better than the bullpen numbers from the Giants. The Giants offense, there's really nothing good to say about it. There's really when Buster Posey, it's like your big offensive piece. It's like, okay. The Angels offense has underperformed all year too. They have a very high upside offense, and their numbers on the season have actually been bum average. They have a 225 batting average, 311 on base percentage, 424 slugging, and their WOBA, which is the weighted on base average, is only 315. So it's about an average WRC plus from the Angels offense. This is a spot where I think the Angels should beat them, but I'm not laying this number on them. And I'm not really interested in taking a shot with the Giants. So this game's just like a total pass for me. If the Giants get pushed up, like right now they're like, you get about plus 205. If somehow everyone just wants to bet the Angels and the Giants get pushed up to like plus 250, I might just hold my nose and throw a half unit on the Giants. But until then, I'm completely passing on this game. I see no reason to be laying well over $2 on a team with a record like the Angels. Until their offense starts producing to their potential, this is not a team to be laying this price with.
I get very uncomfortable taking over 5.5s, and Raymond Reddington saying Los Angeles had him on his seat last night. It had them team total over 5.5, but this feels like a possible look over the 5.5 with the Angels here. It's that perfect hitting weather at Angel Stadium, 93 Fahrenheit clear, 8 miles per hour out to right field, and Cahill, and then this terrible bullpen. What do you think about that team total over 5.5 for the Angels?
It's interesting. It's going to take a lot to get there. It's hard. They're a home team. That's one reason why, I don't like home team totals, overs too often, just because I'm like, if they're winning 5-4, you're going to not get that last at bat to try and get that over. I'm looking at the juice on it. It's about -115, which isn't bad. I really hate it when they juice team totals to -140. I mean, you see that pretty regularly with team totals, so that's why I lay off a lot of team totals. But I mean, I would say I would be more comfortable laying $1.15 on over 5.5 than I would laying -250 with a team that's not played to their potential yet. I mean, because the Angels are over the course of a 162 game season, the way their roster is constructed, they're like an 83 to 85 win team, and they're like 8-14 right now, something like that. I mean, they're not performing the way they should.
Yeah, 8-15, 5-8 at home. Beach Boss not afraid of that 5.5. Gio Mercedes, yes, this is our new time. We are on Tuesday through Saturday, 5 days a week here at 10 a.m. Eastern. Jason Lyra says another overinflated favorite and somewhat appealing dog. A lot of games will look this way after Vegas just getting pounded with all these faves cashing of late. And Raj saying, how are you going to fade the Rockets like that? Talking NBA, I think it's pretty easy to fade the Rockets in game one here, although I have yet to pull the trigger as well. 1 for the money, 2 for the show. No team is safe in the house. So we only have one move so far on this card by our Aunt L, and I've yet to pull the trigger, although I don't hate on this over 5.5. I think they can get 3 on Cahill.
Oh, I mean, they could get 6 on Cahill. I would not. Like I said, I am way more comfortable taking the team total instead of laying $2.50 on the money line.
Agreed. Okay, let's move on to A's at Diamondbacks. So the roof is closed for this matchup. Montas versus Weaver. Montas dealing with the back issues that kept him off of his start last week. The A's opened up at -165 at Bet365, now -155, a 10-cent move towards the Diamondbacks. And Luke Weaver, this total opened up at 9, -115, over 9, -115. It is still there. Weaver's looked very bad this year after looking very good last year. 11.85 ERA, 2.12 whip. Montas looks awesome this year until the back issues slowed him down. 1.57 ERA, 1 whip, 22 Ks in 23 innings, 9 walks. But that first start of the year, there was, 4 walks or so in the first few innings. A's first righties, 226, 759 OPS. D-backs first righties, 255, 725 OPS. A's bullpen very good, 2.34 ERA, 1.10 whip. The D-backs bullpen bad, 5 ERA, 1.46 whip. But the Diamondbacks are over 500 for the first time all year. They've also been very good in interleague play, 18-8. Starlin Marte, 7-game hitting streak. He's rolling, but Luke Weaver is an issue. And now we have Montas back after dealing with upper back tightness. And A's Diamondbacks.
Yeah, so I'm looking at these numbers here. Luke Weaver, this is going to sound crazy and probably super obvious, but he has a lot of positive regression in his metrics, which is pretty easy to say when a guy has an 11.98 ERA to start the year. But I like Luke Weaver. He had a really good season last year. I liked him as a young kid with the Cardinals. I watched him a lot when he played for the Cardinals a few years ago because I'm a Cubs fan, so I watch a lot of those games. One thing I'm looking at this season is his BABIP is at 395, which over a short sample size, that can happen to a guy. And the number that I look for the most for either looking for positive or negative regression with a pitcher at this point in the season. So once they've had 4, 5, 6 starts, I'm looking at these BABIP numbers because those are the numbers that come back the fastest. And a 395 BABIP is ripe for positive regression. That should come down because I mentioned it before. A league average BABIP is between 290 and 310. So his batting average of balls in play, he's been getting killed with bad luck with balls put in play. And we all know from the past, I mean, he's never been a bum. He's never sucked. He's always looked pretty good. And he had a very good season last year. So to just say on a short sample size this season where he's had some bad batted ball luck, he has been bit by the walk bug, that all of a sudden he's going to be a trash can. I think we're way jumping the gun here. I like Luke Weaver. I think he is going to turn it around. And I'm looking at Montas here. Montas' numbers are great. A 1.57 ERA on the year. But you look at his xFIP and his SIERA. His xFIP's 4.39. His SIERA on the season is 4.46. His SIERA is skill interactive earned run average. It's probably the best advanced ERA metric that we have for pitchers. Probably mainly because it also takes in a lot more batted ball data than FIP and xFIP numbers. And I'm also looking at, too, I just mentioned the BABIP numbers for Luke Weaver. Montas' BABIP is at 237. That's going to come up. He's not going to maintain a 237 BABIP for the entire season. So that number's going to come up on him also. And you also mentioned back problems. You start having back problems, that could be lingering. It's like, all right, well, my back feels better now, but a week later you can have spasms again. I mean, we all know how back problems just linger forever. So you also want to looking at these offenses. Arizona, both offenses have been great. I looked at their numbers for the season, and then I looked at their numbers for the last 2 weeks. For the season, Arizona's offensive numbers look terrible. But over the last 2 weeks, they have one of the top 3 offenses in the league. So do the Athletics. The Athletics have a very good offense right now also. But the Arizona Diamondbacks are batting 297 with a 358 WOBA and a 128 WRC plus over the last 2 weeks. And they're on a 5-game win streak. And I'm getting a plus 140 number to fade a guy who has a lot of negative regression in his metrics in Montas. So I am backing a hot offense. I think Luke Weaver's going to turn it around. I don't trust Montas long-term right now. I think I like Montas as a pitcher, but he's not going to maintain a 1.57 ERA. He's going to have a bad start at some point, and I'm hoping it's going to be today because I'm on the Diamondbacks at plus 140.
Huh.
Weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I like it, though. I like it. I like it. You have Frankie Montas out of his rhythm. You have a team that's winning baseball games right now, and a pitcher who has been terrible this year, but he's a young guy who we know is capable of elite type stuff. Damon says Montas is elite, bro. I don't know. Yeah, he is, but I get this bet. I get taking the plus money. I understand it. Ulysses Hayes in the house. Great capper says Oakland will bounce back today. Beachbot says A's got this one. Raj Desai says Ant trying to find value, not here, bud. I don't know. I completely get it. And if I get it. I don't know if I can. What do you expect from this Diamondbacks bullpen that's been so porous so far this year? Does that also concern you, or do you expect a positive regression from them?
There's some positive stuff in their bullpen numbers. They just gotta cut down on their walks. I mean, their bullpen's average. I mean, their bullpen guys are about average. The Athletics have a much better bullpen. I mean, the Diamondbacks are an underdog in this game because the Athletics should be a favorite, but plus 140 is a good number here. I have the game lined about minus 115, minus 120 for the Athletics. So
I feel you. Look, we got our guy Jay Money is money in the house. Jay, too long, man. Great to see you in the chat. I know we haven't been able to check out each other's shows because we've been going up against each other, but man, great to see you rolling with us today. Jay Money is money in the house. Man, makes me want to just skip the NBA when we got money in there. Also, one thing every baseball capper loves to talk about is don't fade the streaks. So, I mean, are we going to fade a 5-game win streak at minus 150? No, I agree. Look, I agree on your Diamondbacks breakdown. I completely agree with Montas coming off of the back issue, and then you have the whole betting public looking at this 11.85 ERA, not looking at 13 2/3. That's all he's thrown is 13 2/3, and he has 17 Ks in those 13 2/3. So now he's allowed 7 home runs in the 13 2/3.
Yeah, I mean, that'll come down. That'll come down. So I mean, I just look at it like that. You got to understand when you're capping these games, there needs to be a number on each side that you're willing to bet. Like you're betting the number that the bookies are giving you. You're not betting the team. Because if you're betting the team, you're just going to bet the Yankees and the Dodgers and every single game, day in and day out, or the Twins. You're looking. There has to be a number where you're willing to bet either side.
I like it. Let's keep rolling along here. We got a lot of games to get through. Next up, Rays, Yankees. I still have not pulled the trigger on anything, which is, making my palm sweat. Rays, Yankees, 82 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour, out to right center. Blake Snell versus Masahiro Tanaka. And Blake Snell is this crazy dichotomy with when he pitches against the Yankees. In New York, 1-5, 5.82 ERA and 11 starts. At home against the Yankees, he's 2-1 with a 1.86 ERA in 6 career starts. Overall, 3-6, 4.23 ERA in 17 career starts against the Yankees. So he gets touched at Yankee Stadium, but this is not Yankee Stadium. None of these guys are going to be heckled while they're, throughout the game. Rays versus righties, 249, 767 OPS. Yankees versus righties, 268, 843 OPS. No Judge, no Stanton, no LeMahieu, and they're hammering the ball still. Yankees bullpen, 3.52 ERA, 1.23 whip. Rays bullpen, 4.23 ERA, 1.35 whip. Leo Leon says Rays play hard. Rich G says Rays, Yankees, under 8 for me. Yankees on a 6-game winning streak since losing 3 of 4 to Tampa. The Yankees were 8-2 at home against the Rays last season, and great pitching matchup here with Tanaka going up against Blake Snell. Let's see what we're given odds-wise here. Yankees open up as favorites, and the Rays become the favorites. And this total is at 8.5, but one book has moved it to 8. What do you think here, and Rays, Yankees?
This is the most exciting game on the card just because it's the best pitching matchup, and they're two of the best teams in baseball. Unfortunately, okay, so I'll look at the numbers. Like the offensive numbers, the Rays over the last couple of weeks have been smoking hot. The Yankees offense, I mean, we all know the Yankees offense have one of the best offenses in baseball. I have some trepidation wanting to bet them against good teams when you have Stanton and Judge out. Judge was huge for the Yankees offense this season, so him being out does really hurt them. Didn't hurt them against the Red Sox, but that's because the Red Sox are freaking putrid. So, I mean, everyone's going to sweep the Red Sox this year. This is just one of those games where, despite all the exciting stuff about it, you got 2 good starting pitchers, you got 2 great bullpens, you got 2 great lineups. The books didn't do us any favors. I have this game lined as about a coin flip, and that's what the books gave us. They gave us a coin flip line on a coin flip game. So I really don't have a betting angle on this game at all. I mean, if you gave me plus 125 on either side, I'd take it. But right now I'm getting, I think the most I was able to get, or most I was able to see, is like plus 110 on each side. That's just not enough value to want to bet either side because this game's a pure coin flip. 2 of the best teams in the league. I'll watch it because I love watching good baseball teams go at each other, but I might find a betting angle live, but I can't bet this game at this number. They're just, they're giving you a coin flip number on a coin flip game. So,
yeah, well put. I mean, I would love to grab Blake Snell, but I missed that opportunity. R2D2 saying Yanks 5-2. What do you think about trying to get under this 8.5?
I can see why you'd want to bet an under, but the problem with betting an under right now is you're betting an under with 2 really good offenses. So, and I've had no luck betting full game totals this season, whether I'm betting the over or the under. So I'm just off the total. So I'm just passing this game entirely.
Interesting. I do think that we can get under 8.5 here.
Let me just put it to you this way. Last time I bet an under involving the Rays and the Yankees, it involved Glasnow and I think it was Garrett Cole or something like that. This is a great under. And it had like 12 runs in a 7-inning game. So that's how really liking an under in a Yankees-Rays game got shoved right out my keister.
Yeah, he gets hurt every time he's in Yankee Stadium. TJ says hit the under last two Yankees game, but this 8.5 scares me. All right, I still have yet to pull the trigger. That's okay. I don't need to force things here. Indians, Pirates. Let's move there. 79 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 7 miles per hour. Out to right center. Cookie Carrasco on the mound had his first tough start last out against the Cubs, but he's 2-2, 3.22 ERA, 1.21 WHIP. Overall this year, 30 Ks in 22 and a third. He dealt with leukemia last year, and he's really come out firing this year. Now we have Brubaker, who's being thrust in the starting rotation by the Pirates due to injuries, 3.38 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. He's been okay in a small sample size. Indians and Pirates are both the weakest hitting clubs against righties. Indians 201, 640 OPS. Pirates 189, 552 OPS. Indians bullpen spectacular, 2.87 ERA, 1.02 WHIP. Pirates bullpen has been awful, 5.88 ERA, 1.66 WHIP. Indians have won 8 of 11. They're coming off a sweep, 3-game sweep of the Tigers, and Carrasco coming off that bad start. And then we have the Pirates, no positive tests for the virus. So their first game since Friday. They played 2 games in 8 days, but they looked good when they came back and they had momentum. But Brubaker and the Pirates are always a toughie back here. The Indians opened up at minus 185. They're now minus 200. This total opened up at 8.5 in almost all the books. I've moved it to 9. Indians, Pirates, are you making a move here, Ant?
I did. I'll just keep this short. Carrasco, elite starting pitcher. Indians bullpen, elite bullpen. Pirates, everything about them's trash, complete trash. This is the biggest. The Indians should be the biggest favorite on the board today. I got them lined at like minus 270, so I took them at minus 185 last night. I know a lot of people won't bet minus 185s or minus 200s, so I would suggest I wouldn't be against taking them in a 2-team parlay with another favorite that I like that's a little bit farther down the line. We'll get to that game later. But I took the Indians money line at minus 185 last night. And I'll give you guys, when we get to that game, I'll give you guys, since I know most people aren't going to bet on minus 185, I'll give you guys a game to parlay them with if you want to get a good number.
Do you think that Carrasco, after leukemia and all the issues he's dealt with, will be dealing with legitimate fatigue? And he looked so good at the start of the year because he was so fresh?
I don't necessarily think so, because there's several guys out there who dealt with leukemia before, like Anthony Rizzo. He dealt with leukemia before he got to the Cubs, and he's been an all-star first baseman for years. This is not a type of cancer that's uncommon. You can Google search and find plenty of athletes, maybe not plenty, maybe like a half dozen. You can find athletes who've had this kind of this form of leukemia before, beaten it and come back and been very good. Carrasco, before he had leukemia, was an elite starting pitcher. This year, he's an elite starting pitcher. And you got an elite pitcher and an elite bullpen going up against the worst lineup in baseball. The Pirates are the worst team in baseball, period. They have no pitching, and they make up for that by having no hitting. I know we've dogged on the Indians hitting all season. That doesn't matter. A shit lineup like the Indians can still score 10 runs off of a shit pitching staff. They've done it before against the Tigers bullpen. This is the one spot on the board where, because sometimes you get a minus 200 favorite where there's still value on that minus 200, and this is one of those spots. I got this game lined at like minus 270. The Indians should win this game like 75% of the time.
Brubaker, 8 innings. He's only allowed runs in that 1 inning, that 3-run home run against the Twinkies. He's been okay. I get it. I completely get it. But again, I'm not going to pull the trigger at this point here on the innings. We've seen these teams, these rested ball clubs, when you think they're going to be rusty, look very good. TJ says, what do you think of Cleveland -1 and minus 152?
I like that. If I like them on the money line, I like -1, -1.5, whatever you guys want But, however you guys want to take that down, if you want to bet the run line or the -1 line, you guys can do that. I mean, I think the Indians, this is one of those spots where sometimes you get these spots where a -200 favorite should be a much bigger favorite. This is one of those spots.
Yeah, no, I get it. Ixnizzle asking what the team total is for these Indians. Wow, they moved it up to 5.5. I bet there's.
I would not bet a 5.5 team total with the Indians.
No. 100. And the Pirates team total's 3.5.
Oh, I would take that under.
It's juiced to the under 3.5.
Oh, well, I mean, if it's juiced to the under, that makes sense because the Pirates aren't getting 3 runs in this game.
Wow. Okay, let's move on to Nats, Braves, Voth, Tomlin. Josh Tomlin sighting here. This total opened up at 10. It's still there. There's been a 10-cent move to the over. It used to be juiced to the under, but now it's a pick 'em at 10. And it opened at -110. And there's been a 15-cent move to the Braves and Tomlin. So 87 Fahrenheit clear, 3 miles per hour, sideways in is the weather. Voth, 3.21 ERA, 1.07 whip. Tomlin's been very good out of the bullpen. He's been their best bullpen piece so far this year. Surprisingly, 1.59 ERA, 0.79 whip, and he's getting Ks, 16 Ks and 11 and a third. Hasn't allowed a home run yet this year. Nats versus righties, they don't hit them hard. We know their power comes against lefties. 234, 692 OPS. Braves versus righties, 268, 812 OPS. Nats bullpen, 4.39 ERA, 1.36 whip. Braves bullpen, 3.16 ERA, 1.22 whip. Braves feeling good about themselves after the Dansby Swanson walk-off yesterday. Votto, 3 starts against the Braves, 4 appearances, 2.70 ERA, 5 runs allowed in 16 2/3, making his 4th start of the season. Did not look great in his last start against the Mets, 3 runs in 4 innings. And Tomlin is not a guy that when you watch him with the eye test, you're like, I don't know how this guy does it.
He's only going to go 2 innings anyways. This is a Brave. The Braves are doing a bullpen game here. I mean, Tomlin's never had a start in his life. I mean, he's not going to go 5-6 innings in this. This is a designed bullpen spot.
Nationals, Braves here. Braves a slight favorite and the total at 10. Were you going to make a move here, Ant?
I was, but here's the thing. I want to start fading Voth. His ERA is pretty decent, 3.86 ERA over his career, although you got to remember his career is only 70 innings pitched. So that's not even like a full season as a starter numbers. He has a 470 FIP, a 483 xFIP, and his career BABIP is 245 over those 7 innings. So I see a lot of regression here with Voth coming. I mentioned it before. We've talked about Voth before on some of these days where I'm like, he's just a nothing to me. He's just bum average all the way down. There's a reason why he's, making his major league debut at age 27. He's just there as lineup filler. He's not a complete trash can, but he's not going to be a guy who's going to shut anybody down. Who's got a good offense. He's just nothing. And then when I look at the Braves, their bullpen's got a lot of good upside, and they're putting out a bullpen game. So I think the Braves have a pitching advantage here. I would want to bet the Braves, but I don't trust their offense if you take out Albies and Acuna. So taking Albies and Acuna out of that offense just kind of makes me want to pass on this game. If I had one of those guys in this game, I'd take the Braves at this number. But, I mean, if those guys out of the lineup, I'm just got to pass. I have a strong lean towards the Braves. I don't want any part of the Nationals in this spot, but I don't trust their offense enough to want to put my money on.
See, I still think they can do damage. Swanson, Darno, Freeman, Ozuna, Adams, Riley, Markakis, Camargo, Inciarte. There's still some beef in that lineup,
Yeah, there still is, but there's still, you're taking 2 key pieces out of it. It's still going to hurt the overall lineup. I mean, it's still better than anything the Pirates or the Indians got. I'm not gonna deny that.
I agree with you with the pitching advantage. Voth has allowed 4 home runs already this year, and if you can get past Kendrick in that Nationals lineup at the 6, 7, 8, 9, Garcia, Kieboom, Gomes, and Robles is not strong. I think you were right. I think the Braves have an advantage in this game.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think they do, but the line's already moved toward them. So now I'd just be chasing steam. And like I said, I have a strong lean towards them, but not enough to wind up actually pulling the trigger. I almost bet them last night, but I just laid off of it. Like the model shows value on them. So
yeah. And, the funny thing about these home teams, a lot of cappers don't like to take the home team on a -1. But I every time I look at the number on a home team, I mean, you get 85 cents on the -1.5. Wow, you're right. I can't. It's -135 now. There being a 25-cent. Okay, I can't do that.
Damn. That's got the number passed.
Yeah, damn. Too much steam. Okay, man. All right, this is a tricky card. I thought we'd be.
It's a full card, but I mean, I got some plays on it. I mean, I gave out 3 already, so there's that. I got a couple more.
Yeah, I've got 2 later in the card, but I don't know why I'm so ahead.
Don't worry, guys. Every game is not a pass. I do have a few more plays coming up.
Let's go Mariners, Dodgers, hot in LA. 99 Fahrenheit, clear, 7 miles per hour, out to right center. Marco Gonzalez versus Tony Gonsolin. Gonsolin's looked so good early in the year, and Noli Knows gave us a hint of that coming. As you know, he's quite high on Gonsolin. Gonzalez 2.2, 3.97 ERA, 0.93 WHIP, and Gonsolin 0.69 WHIP in 8 2/3, 9 Ks, 2 walks. Mariners versus righties, they don't hit him. 238, 698 OPS. Dodgers versus lefties, they don't hit him. 210, 658 OPS. But the Dodgers can still get runs. They still manage to get runs against lefties. Mariners bullpen's just awful. 6.35 ERA, 1.53 WHIP. And the Dodgers bullpen lights out. 1.52 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. 6-game winning streak for the Dodgers. Gonsolin 2 starts this season, coming up throwing 4 scoreless just on Wednesday. 4 2/3 scoreless against the Padres. That was after the 4 scoreless against the Diamondbacks. And Gonzalez coming off his worst start of the year, 5-inning loss to the Rangers, gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. Mariners, Dodgers, and the Dodgers open up at -250. It's where they stand right now. This total used to be juiced to the under 9.5. There's been a 10-cent move to make the total a pick 'em at 9.5. NL Mariners Dodgers.
All right, so I gave out a -200 earlier, and I'm going to go the opposite way on this one, believe it or not. Gonzalez is the only competent starting pitcher that the Mariners have. He might be the only competent pitcher, period, that the Mariners have. And we have the benefit of him being a lefty, which if you're going to have a chance against this Dodgers lineup, you need to have a lefty. On the other side, Gonsolin, I like Gonsolin. I agree with Nolly. Gonsolin is one of – I mean, I like almost every pitcher that the Dodgers throw out there because I've said before, I'll say it again. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball. But Gonsolin does have some negative regression stuff coming. He's got a 2.40 ERA, but his xFIP is at 4.66. His Sierra's at 4.45. There's some regression coming there. His BABIP, we've talked about, this is the perfect time of the year to start looking at BABIP for negative and positive regression numbers with starting pitchers. His BABIP's at 2.06. That's going to swing back up towards the mean real quick. Now, there's really nothing else much to say because we all know the Mariners are substantially worse team than the Dodgers. But given the number that we have here, and given the fact that we do have the one spot where the Mariners have a pitcher who can contain, not necessarily keep the Dodgers from scoring, but contain the Dodgers lineup on paper, he should be able to at least on occasion be able to contain the Dodgers lineup here. I'm on the Mariners first 5 money line. I got it about 45 minutes ago when they first dropped at plus 205. This is a pure value spot here. And as crazy as it sounds, because I know you guys are going, oh my God, Mariners first 5 money line against the Dodgers. You're crazy, Anthony. That's a losing bet. It would have won yesterday at the same price, you know. Somehow, some way, this Mariners offense, no one thought the Mariners were going to score 8 runs against Stripling or whatever it was yesterday. No one thought that would happen. It did. So sometimes Major League offenses score runs, and sometimes Major League pitchers just shut a team down. At this price, you kind of have to just hold your nose and take the Mariners, and that's what I did. So I took the Mariners at plus 205 on the first 5 money line.
Did you have any inclination to make a move on the plus a half?
No, because I wanted that plus 200. I wanted to put a half unit to win a full unit. So I just because I'm okay if it's 4-4, 2-2, whatever after 5 innings. I don't care if I push. I mean, no harm, no foul on a push. So I have a half unit to win a full unit on the money line itself.
I like it. I like that bet. JL says it's plus 175 now. It's not a mine. I still got plus 200 in mine. So the plus a half is at plus 130.
Yeah, they really screwed it. They're taking away 70 cents.
Yeah. I think that's a good look. on Gonsolin, who's been lights out this year. I can understand the risk reward. Connor Mack says nice look there, Ant. I think. Oh wow, Ryan Kozlowski got it plus. It's saying last night it hit plus 235. You're right that Gonzalez off of a bad start against a dangerous lineup that doesn't hit lefties. Gonsolin, who's not allowed to run yet, he hasn't dealt with any adversity, and.
Yeah, I mean, it's a value play. I fully expect to lose this probably more than half the time, but at this price, you only need to win 1 in 3 times just to break even, let alone turn a profit.
Yeah. I think that you've talked me into this. Mariners first 5, it's plus 200, and wow, it just seems like there's value there. Okay, Mariners first 5 plus 200. I've got an asterisk here. We're going to go over the entire card once more just before we move on to NBA. But Mariners first 5 plus 200 is the most appealing spot so far that I hadn't planned on making a move. Let's go Mets, Marlins. We have David Peterson, who is this spectacular pitcher at Oregon, and now he's in the show, and his stuff doesn't really translate to me that much. He needs all of his off-speed pitches to get strikeouts. He doesn't have he's an average fastball in the show. And but he's bet pretty heavily by the Mets brass. Humberto Mejia, 0-0, 3.86 ERA, 1.71 whip. That's who we expect to be pitching for the Marlins. As Ant said, the Marlins were going to start losing, and that's what they've done. And Ant's been saying that for 2 weeks now, and he's right. Mets first righties, 277, 794 OPS. Mets first lefties, 210. Marlins first lefties, 210, 619 OPS. They don't hit lefties hard, and they came out of the gate hitting lefties hard. Mets bullpen, 4.55 ERA, 1.36 whip. Those numbers are improving. Marlins bullpen, 4.67 ERA, 1.43 whip. So New York snapped their 3-game losing streak with an 11-4 win, and Peterson's already gone up against the Marlins. 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 3 walks, 2 runs. He's a first-round pick in 2017. He's yet to throw more than 6 innings. Yet to throw more than 87 pitches. Miami's lost 6 of 8. And Mejia, look, I don't trust Mejia at all. But I don't see why the Marlins couldn't get to Peterson here. There's Albert Ross in the house. Carlos Jetton ready to get to work here. Rich G in the house. And Mets, Marlins. What do you think here?
I took the Mets yesterday, so that was fun. I don't this is one of the 2 – I mentioned there was 2 games I didn't cap because I didn't have lines for them. This is one of the other 2 games. I know Peterson, he should be he looks like he's going to be about an average starting pitcher. I know I don't like the Marlins at all. I don't like their starting pitching. I don't like their bullpen. I don't think their lineup is any good. I'm high on the Mets. Just cursory glance, I looked at the line. It's minus 175 on the Mets right now. That seems about right to me, so I'll pass. But I wouldn't want to. I think putting your money on the Marlins going forward, just lighting money on fire, unless I'm getting like a plus 200 number, you just got to stay away from the Marlins going forward.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that they can get to Peterson a bit here, but I think Mejia could easily get.
You want to look at a total?
Marlins team totals at 3.5.
Yeah, it's juiced to the over too.
Yeah, but minus over 3.5 and minus 130. Let's just see who their expected lineup is. VR, Rojas, Anderson, Aguilar, Diaz, Cervelli, Brinson, Birdie, Harrison. I mean,
a bunch of bums.
Yeah, but I'm not high on Peterson at all. I think they can get that over 3.5. I think they can get that. I think Peterson is overvalued at this point. They've just seen him as well. Okay, I'm leaning towards this team total over 3.5 for the Marlins. It's very juicy, but if I'm right and Peterson is just ho-hum and they've already seen him once. All right, let's keep rolling along. Well, next up we have Phillies, Red Sox. Rich Lee says, pass game for me, I found no value. Phillies, Red Sox. See what we are dealing with here. We got L Sports rolling with us on our new time, bright and early. Eflin Godley, this first 5 total is at 6. Let's look at what this full game is here.
11. Wow. Full game total of 11.
I don't have. Oh shit! Yeah, wow, you're right. Only 2 10.5s left on the board. Wow, Eflin Godley. Eflin and the Phillies open up -125. They're now at -130. Eflin 0-1, 3.60 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. Godley's look very bad. 8.16 ERA, 2.02 WHIP. 5 home runs allowed in 14 1/3. Phillies versus righties, 257, 798 OPS. Red Sox versus righties, 238, 704 OPS. As we know, the Phillies bullpen is the worst in the league. Red Sox bullpen, not that much better. Red Sox have lost 8 straight. They've been outscored 73-35. Their team ERA is the worst in the majors. Wow, what a bunch of bumps. Phillies team ERA is 5. Just a bad. JL says Godley is a drunk. Phillies, Red Sox. What do you do here,
There's a lot to. So I know Eflin takes a lot of shit, but if you look at Eflin's numbers, he's been pretty good since his first 2 seasons in the league. His first 2 seasons in the league were pretty bad. He's been pretty decent since then. His numbers this year are pretty good too. Godley's been awful. The Phillies offense, though, believe it or not, they have one of the 3 best offenses in the league on the season. A 261 batting average, 343 on base percentage, so they're getting a lot of walks, 460 slugging, 345 weighted on base average, and a 119 WRC plus. I mean, the Phillies offense is raking. They're going up against a terrible starting pitcher and a terrible bullpen. And, oh, by the way, just a team that's lost 8 in a row. One thing you don't make money on in baseball is fading streaks, whether it's a losing streak or a winning streak. You don't really want to catch yourself trying to fade the streak. I took the Phillies last night at -112. Right now I'm looking at -125. I think taking the Phillies full game at -125 is a little bit sketchier because of their bullpen is pretty bad. So it is kind of always, clenching your teeth, holding on to your seat if you take the Phillies full game. I got them yesterday, full game -112. So -125, I'd be a little hesitant to take them full game because their bullpen is so bad. So I would look at this current time, I would look more towards a first 5, whether it's the first 5 money line, first 5 run line. But the Red Sox are just so bad right now. There's no way you can bet them unless the Red Sox decide to pull their heads out of their ass and win a couple games in a row. You really cannot back this team. I mean, backing this team is just throwing good money after bad. There's no reason to bet on the Red Sox at all. I see Gas Station Susie in the chat. I hope that's sarcasm. You're trying to get a little too fancy if you want to bet a team on an 8-game losing streak that we already predicted at the beginning of the year was checked out. So I like the Phillies in this spot. You're getting a really cheap price to fade a terrible team in the Red Sox. You're getting this cheap price because of the Phillies bullpen. If the Phillies bullpen was even average, you'd be looking at a -150 here. So the reason why the price is so low is because that bullpen is pretty terrible. So keep that in mind. So at the current number, I would not bet the Phillies full game, but I would go and take them first 5. I think the first 5 right now looks like it's like a -130. You can get a first 5 run line and even money. So I would I bet them full game last night at minus 112. I would suggest anybody take the first 5 here.
Yeah, it's an interesting look. It scares me that gas is on the other side. First 5, they just give about 3. So I'm so tight on these run lines. They give you 20 cents. Minus 130 to minus 110 here.
I have a non-legal book. Let me see what you can get here. 5 dimes. That's why I have 5 dimes. Where is it? Man, there's too many games on this board. Plus 105 on the first 5 run line for the Phillies.
And Godley has good numbers against the Phillies in a small sample size.
Godley has shit numbers over his career in a big sample size. He had one good season. I think 2018. He was really good in 2018. Other than that, he's been a complete abomination to pitching.
All right, let's move on to Jays Orioles. I'm not gonna pull the trigger at this point in the Phillies Red Sox, but the quotes coming out of the Red Sox clubhouse are bad.
Remember at the beginning of the year, what did I say? I said this Red Sox is a gutless team who've checked out, fade them all year, and now look, like the Tigers are the only team worse than them. I'm not the Tigers, the Pirates, whatever.
Pirates.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, Blue Jays Orioles. Blue Jays 8-11, 6-6 on the road and Camden Yards, 83 Fahrenheit clear, 4 miles per hour out to right field. The Orioles have been good away from Camden, poor at Camden. Another look at Nate Pearson, 5.11 ERA, 1.46 whip, flamethrower, but 11 Ks, 9 walks, and 12 1/3. Those are numbers that he wants. Wade LeBlanc is terrible, 7.13 ERA, 1.47 whip. Whenever I get bullish about teams lighting him up, he seems to have an okay start.
Yeah, same here. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, but I'm still not going to let it hesitate. I'm still not going to hesitate too much to fade him. Jays first lefties, 264, 720 OPS. Rich G saying Red Sox listening to offers for JD Martinez. Yeah, and the quotes coming from him are terrible. Orioles first righties, 253, 754 OPS. Jays bullpen, 3.47 ERA, 1.30 whip. Orioles bullpen's been better than we expected it to be, 4.28 ERA, 1.28 whip. No Bichette, but Cavan Biggio and Grichuk both stepped up against the Orioles yesterday. Orioles have lost 3 of 4. In his last 2 starts, 6 2/3, LeBlanc's allowed 9 runs. He's got to get touched. I mean, I just can't imagine living in a world where LeBlanc is a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. Pearson and the Jays opened up at minus 140. It's where they stand now. This total opened up at 9.5. It's now at 10, at over half of the books. Take it away, Ant.
This was an interesting game. I capped this game down. I like Pearson long term. Right now, I just have him rated as an average starting pitcher because that's kind of what I've seen from him. But I think long term, he'll be a stud for your team. I like the Blue Jays bullpen. The Blue Jays bullpen has been pretty good this year. 348. I'm looking at on their on the year for ERA, 379 FIP. They getting over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. I like that. I like to see a lot of strikeouts coming out of the bullpen. We already know LeBlanc sucks. I don't. There's some things that I think are sustainable, and there's some things that are not sustainable. The Blue Jays over the last 2 weeks have had a very good offense. All year long, I was saying their offense, they have a lot of high upside of that offense. Their offense was slow out of the gate, but they've really caught on. Even without Bo Bichette, they've still been putting up a lot of runs. And the Orioles offense has been really hot too, but that's not going to be sustainable because they're still bums. This is a game where, unfortunately, the books lined this game right where it should be. I have the Blue Jays right around a minus 130 favorite, and that's what the books gave us. So I have to pass on the game, but I am looking at a way to get on the Blue Jays. Their total is 5.5, but it's not juice. It's juice to the under. So you could probably take a Blue Jays team total here, ride that offense, and fade Wade LeBlanc. You can get a over 5.5 at about minus 105. Let me scroll down to their first 5 total. Their first 5 total is 3.5, but it's plus 125. So you're getting plus 125 that they could get 4 runs off of LeBlanc. That's not a bad look. They probably won't do it 50% of the time, but you're getting plus 125 and over 3.5 there. That's not too shabby.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. What is the first 5 at Bet365 for the Jays is minus 150. So that's just a little too rich because I don't know what Pearson's going to do, but Pearson could also get touched here, but the first 5.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like you want to fade LeBlanc here, but I don't know what we're going to get out of Pearson because the Orioles offense, despite the fact that I don't really believe their numbers are sustainable, they've still been one of the better offenses in the league so far. So if they're still going to run hot, Pearson hasn't shown that he's going to be super shut down, so they could still get some runs off of him. So I'm not really willing to lay a minus 150 on the guy on the first 5, even if it is going up against LeBlanc.
Yeah, either am I. But that first 5 over 5.5 seems appealing here, and I just don't. Do you think? God, and Steve Priest is already on that 9.5. Good job there. It's 10 in my book. I think I'm going to make moves on overs in this spot here today. Oh, it's still 9.5 full game here. That's pretty nice. First 5 over 5.5 full game over 9.5. I think those are both extremely appealing. Lamont Williams max bet is in. Damn, Lamont, I missed it. Could you pop it up one more time? Maybe when we talk about the next game, I'll see if I can find it. But we need to know. Okay, let's keep rolling here. First 5 over 5.5, full game over 9.5, and then that Jays team total over is at 5.5 as well. Okay, so Reds Royals canceled, postponed, doubleheader tomorrow. Move on to that news just came in. Tigers White Sox. Let's move over there. Just 3 games left on this card. The White Sox, opened up at minus 165. They're now minus 170 with Cease, and the total opened up at 9. It used to be juiced to the over. It is now juiced to the under. There's Matt Randall in the house. There's a bunch that we can use, Porch Monkey, but the Bet365 and Pinnacle are the main ones that are used up here. Steve Priest says info on Tariq Skubal, 23 years old. Last year he was at High A Lakeland and Double A Erie. He went 6-8 with a 2.42 ERA, 1.01 WHIP. But listen to this: 179 Ks in 122 2/3. Very impressive. 37 walks, so it's not like he's walking a bunch of batters as well. Skubal is, the pitchers that the Tigers are using in this series, we're going to see some real studs. And it starts with Skubal. Then going up against Cease, 3-1, 3.26 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. Tigers versus righties don't hit them, 209, 651 OPS. White Sox, they smash lefties, 261, 873 OPS. Tigers bullpen's been good all year. White Sox bullpen, 4.08 ERA, 1.23 WHIP. Tigers have won 6 straight. Skubal, the 9th round pick in the 2018 draft, number 50 in MLB Pipeline's list of top 100 prospects. And Cease has a nice career against the Tigers, 4-0, 2.86 ERA. Robert Cherry says it's White Sox or pass, guys. A Porch Monkey says Skubal has electric stuff. Maybe low key. He may be low key be better than Manning and Mize, and we're going to get to see Mize on Wednesday. So we're going to get to see the number 1 overall pick from last year. Tigers, White Sox, and take it away.
Yeah, so I looked up Skubal's numbers. They're elite numbers in Double A, so there's a reason why he's a highly touted prospect. But the problem is you have no information on what he's going to do against major league hitters. Dylan Cease, he's a guy I do not trust. He has a good ERA so far, 3.26, but all of his cursory numbers are bad. His FIP, 6.27, XFIP, 5.37, Sierra, 5.08. He has a low K rate. There's not a lot good to look at from Dylan Cease here. And look at that. We got a 50 pitch count for Skubal. When I look at this bullpen for the Tigers, their numbers are average ERA-wise, a 4 ERA, a 4.24 FIP, 4.50 XFIP. But things I'm looking at here, less than 7.5 strikeouts per 9 innings out of your bullpen. They also have a 246 BABIP and a 73% left on base percentage. That's their strand rate. So they're stranding 73% of the runners, which, put that in perspective, is right smack dab in the middle of all the strand rates in MLB in their bullpens. They're 15th out of 30 teams in their strand rate. And I think that's going to go down, they'll go down below 15th. I think their strand rate is not going to sustain at 73% if they're not getting any strikeouts, which they're not, and that BABIP regression starts kicking in. A 246 BABIP, that's going to have some negative regression. That's going to move up to the 280s, the 290s. So I see some negative regression in this Tigers bullpen. You have a kid who we don't know what we're going to get. It's his first major league start, and he's going to be on a pitch count. And the Tigers offense is putrid since Crone went on the IL. In the last week, they have a 76 WRC plus and a 281 WOBA. That is dead last in the league. It's a terrible offense right now. I don't want to take a shot on the Tigers here. I really don't. I don't trust their bullpen, and their offense is terrible. But you know what I'm not going to do? Long story short, I'm not laying $1.70 in a game started by Dylan Cease. So that's just a lot of information for me to tell you I'm passing on this game.
Yeah, Matt Reynolds' White Sox lineup is being fired. They're smashing lefties. Viper says took that over 9.5 Blue Jays game. I think 7-5 final. I'm going to do the same, Viper. I'm going to double up. I'm just wondering, try not to go to the triple up. Dylan Turner says, let's get the NBA NHL. We are almost there. We have 2 games left. Let's go through them right now. Brewers, Twins, 79 Fahrenheit clear, 2 miles per hour in is the weather. Corbin Burns, versus Kenta Maeda. Corbin Burns back in the starting lineup because Eric Lauer no longer has a spot on a Major League Baseball team.
It's because he sucks.
Corbin Burns, 3.38 ERA, 1.19 whip, 24 Ks in 16 innings, but 11 walks. Still has looked good coming out of the bullpen for the Brew Crew. Maeda, 2.66 ERA, 0.72 whip. He's looked great so far as a Minnesota Twin. Brewers versus righties, no, nothing. 211, 632 OPS. And Twins versus righties, just 239, 753 OPS. Both teams' bullpens are very strong, especially the Brewers. And Maeda, 2.94 ERA, 6 career starts against the Brewers. And Burns now in the starting rotation. Brewers, Twinkies opened up at minus 165. There's been a 10-cent move towards the Brewers. This total was a pick 'em. It's now a 10-cent move towards the under 9 at minus 120. Take it away, Ant. You making the move here?
I could talk about this game for a minute, and then I'll just wind up telling you that I passed. So I'm not making a move on it. I see some negative regression in Maeda's numbers, but Maeda's, even if he does regress negatively, his numbers are still good. I do like Burns. I think he's a pretty decent upside guy for the Brewers here. Both bullpens are really good. So I think the pitching matchups in this game are long-term kind of a wash. Neither team has a substantial advantage either way, the pitching matchups between starter and bullpens. The Twins have an advantage in the offensive categories, but not enough for me to want to lay $150 with them here. But I'm not backing the Brewers here at this price against a substantially better team overall. I need a better number on the Brewers to back them when I don't really trust their lineup enough against a very good starting pitcher and a very good bullpen to get enough runs to win the game.
I agree. I think this total might be something we can get underneath. First 5 is at 5. What do you think of that?
First 5 unders are always in play with the Brewers because, like I said, Maeda's a good pitcher. Burns is good enough to shut down this Twins offense, and the Twins offense has not lived up to their potential this year. On the year, they only have a 99 WRC plus rating and a 316 WOBA. Those are pretty mediocre numbers for a team that's supposed to be one of the best offenses in the league. So you're going to have Burns, who's got pretty decent stuff, and even if he goes 3-4 innings, he's backed up by a pretty good bullpen. I could definitely look at that first 5 under, especially if it's 5. Let me look that up.
It's 5.
Oh, yeah. Then
I think it's a nice look.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bet.
Yeah, I'm going to lock that in. First 5, under 5, and it's at minus 120 at Bet365 right now. You might be able to find better at other books. Okay, I'm in. There's a look. So now we're starting to get a couple spots here on the board. And as I said, the first fives come out real late at Bet365, and it's going to be difficult with this 10 a.m. Eastern start time because I can't get the bets in time. But I do want to fade Ponce de Leon. I mean, we've just been cashing Cubs first five minus a half over and over and over and over. But at what point do you draw the line juice-wise? Let's see what it is right now. First 5 innings, minus a half. It's minus 130, which is what it's been all along. I keep cashing with Darvish first 5 minus a half. I do not trust Ponce de Leon. 71 Fahrenheit clear, 10 miles per hour in. Cards versus righties, 223, 691 OPS. They have no power. Cubs versus righties, 234, 758 OPS. Cards bullpen has been very good. The Cubs bullpen is improving slightly after that terrible start for them. I think Yu is coming into his own. I'm on Cubs first 5 minus a half. I haven't had the chance to bet it yet. It wasn't up, but it's up now. Cubs first 5 minus half, minus 130 for me.
Yeah, that's actually that's exactly what I'm on. Yu Darvish has been lights out this season. He's got a 1.88 ERA, a 2.16 FIP. He's got his exit velocity, his average exit velocity on the season is 87.5 miles per hour, which is a full mile per hour below his exit velocity from the last 2 seasons. So he's inducing more soft contact from hitters. Ponce de Leon's got a lot of, I say it a lot, negative regression in his metrics right now. And this is the time of year where you're going to start hearing me talk about this a lot because now we have a big enough sample size to where we can start spotting where the negative and positive movements in these pitching numbers and batting numbers are going to start hitting. Over his career, it's 85 innings pitched. 3.47 ERA. That's pretty good, except his FIP is 4.04. His xFIP's worse, is 4.53. His Sierra is 4.43. And his BABIP, I talk about BABIPs a lot. His career BABIP is 2.56 over 85 innings pitched. That's not sustainable career. He's going to have his BABIP going to go up. So I agree with you. I do want to fade Ponce de Leon. Another aspect we've got to look at here. Now, sometimes Cub managers like to put out terrible lineups. Like yesterday, I was going to be all over Kyle Hendricks' first 5 until I saw that for some reason, Ross put out Fegley as the DH, put out Mora in the lineup. Ugh, terrible. If the Cubs play their best lineup, the Cubs have a fantastic lineup advantage. But for some reason, every now and again, they'll play fucking bums, and their lineup's one of the worst in the league because they'll be like, oh, why do we want to start Chris Bryant today? Let's put Fegley in for no reason. Ugh. Anyways, enough of that little soapbox. Lineup-wise, the Cubs have substantial lineup advantage over the Cardinals. Going into the season, I did not like the Cardinals lineup at all. And even though they have a much smaller sample size than other teams because they lost 2.5 weeks to the season because they went to a casino instead of being responsible. A 222 batting average, 291 on base percentage. That your on base percentage has to be above 300 as a team. That's terrible. 387 slugging, a 294 weighted on base average, and an 87 WRC plus. You cannot throw out a bad lineup against a pitcher like Yu Darvish and expect to be successful long term. Long story short, I bet the same thing you did. I'm on the Cubs' first 5 run line. And if you guys remember, back when I mentioned the Indians, I said, I know you guys don't want to bet minus 200s, even though I think there's value at minus 200 on the Indians. This was the spot that I was targeting to let you guys say I kind of like a parlay here. Parlay Cubs' first 5 money line. You don't necessarily have to go with the run line because it's a parlay. You're going to get better than even money on this. Parlay the Cubs' first 5 with the Indians full game money line, and you should get like plus 120 on it.
I like it. That all makes a ton of sense. All right, I've gone through my action and made some changes. I know exactly what I'm doing now. Here, let's go over Ant's MLB card, entire MLB card broken down by Ant, myself. Ant, let's hear your action on today's card.
All right, starting the day off, first game of the day, we got an underdog special here, plus 185 on the Rockies. I have another underdog that no one in the chat seemed to like, but, when it cashes, you'll understand why Jimmy loves to have me on this show. Diamondbacks plus 140. Another big underdog coming up. Mariners first 5 plus 200. And taking on this is my official pick for this. Take the Indians full game money line parlayed with the Cubs first 5 money line. That should get you at about plus 130. Or you could just do what I do, lay the $2 on the Indians and take the Cubs first 5 run line. Either way, I like the Cubs first 5, however you want to take it today. So those are my official plays. That's what I got in today.
I like it. My official plays are taking that off. Not a lot of looks for me in this card, but we'll make up for that in NHL and NBA. I am on nothing for a while. I'm on Mariners first 5 plus 200. I just think that there's a nice risk reward there. I'm on.
It is risky. I'll admit that, but
no doubt. But I get it. I can really wrap my and I kind of was hoping that we'd find opportunities when the Dodgers were up against a lefty and you got this big plus spot. So Mariners first 5 plus 200. Marlins team total over 3.5 at minus 130. Doubling up on the Jays Orioles, and I guess I'm sort of losing faith. Not losing faith. I think Nate Pearson's going to be great, but he's got to work on his off-speed pitches. And if all he has is 98 heat, then the Orioles are going to be able to touch him. So I'm on first 5 over 5.5, full game over 9.5 in the Jays-Orioles game. So I'm going to double up there. Then I'm on the Brewers Twins first 5 under 5 at minus 120 and Cubs first 5 minus a half at minus 130. There is action.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that Brewers Twins first 5 also. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so do I. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. There we have it. You can catch Aunt L on the show every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, Benny with the bag. Lock it in. Aunt L will be breaking down the MLB card with us. Thank you so much for joining us today, my friend. And have a very, very strong day today. And look forward to having you back on the show.
All right. Thanks. Have a good one.
There he is, Ant L Sports. Follow him at AntL_sports on Twitter. Great capper, shares all of his actions. Sabina says, what happens to the parlay bet if Cubs tie in the first 5 and Indians win? Voided, better loss. No, what will happen is you'll get paid for just the Indians win. So your parlay that will be, plus 120 or something will become just a minus 185 single bet. Okay, there we go. MLB in business. And that's fine. It ends up being actually quite a few plays. I didn't want to be. Porch Monkey says, what time is the new start time? Yes, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We've gone earlier. Let's get into the NBA and see where we stand right now. We are 133 wins, 121 losses, plus 2.82 units. Our ROI is plus 1.11%. And our average line is minus 108. We are on a 3-game winning streak right now. Before the playoffs started, we hit with the Grizz minus 3 in their must-win game to get into the showdown with the Blazers. We hit with the Sixers plus 165 money line on their last game in the bubble, and then we hit with the Blazers first half minus 3 at minus 115. Against the Grizzlies in the big 8-9 matchup. So we've hit 3 straight. We're back in positive units. So we feel good. Let's get to work. Magic, Bucks. We're going to start there. Bucks played with a ton of pace all year long. They did the same in the bubble, just behind the Rockets for fastest pace in the bubble at 106.74 possessions a game, but just 3 and 5 in the bubble. The Magic 101.31 possessions a game, and they're not to be trusted. No Jonathan Isaac, no Mo Bamba, no Aaron Gordon, but he's questionable. Michael Carter-Williams, doubtful. Evan Fournier and Terrence Ross are expected to play, but they're dealing with their own bullshit. This has been a very shaky lineup that we believed in when healthy. And Beach Boss says no Gordon. No Gordon. There we go. Dutch Boy Fresh. And I like these looks. I like these looks a lot. I think I'm going to roll with you on Thunder. We're going to get to that. And I want to bet the Blazers, and I'm having a tricky time figuring out exactly how to do it. So it's great to have Dutch Boy Fresh and everybody working here together. Viper NB on the Giannis over points and rebounds. Easy 50 burger. The problem is, Viper, what if Milwaukee's up 25 or 30 points going into the fourth? Dylan, come on, buddy. Come on. We got to get the positivity flowing. All right. Let's see what we're dealing with now. Let's move over to NBA and see what kind of odds we are dealing with. There's Nutflush Allen in the house. Rob T says, think everyone is on the Thunder tonight. Ixnezel says, live bet the Blazers game. Rob T, are you making a move on the Lakers? Because if everybody was on the Lakers, if everyone was on, sorry, I'm getting Portland and sorry. It's the Blazers. That was 5.5 yesterday, and now it's 6.5 for that Blazers Lakers spot. And J Money in the house, spectacular NBA camera says you got to have Bucks -11. Also, the Portland money line has moved 30 cents. It was plus 200 last night. Now you can get Blazers plus 230, but we'll get to all that in a little bit. Let's talk Magic. Bucks. The -11 that J Money got was a great move. There's 13.5s on the board now. Bet365 hanging the 13. The total for Orlando, 224.5 opener, has moved to 225 or 225.5. Beach Boss says Bucks going to win by 30. Milwaukee swept the regular season series 4-0. The Magic did not look good. Oh, sorry. J Money says I'm not on the Bucks. Just saying if you like them, why not take them earlier? Yes, absolutely. Great point. Two saying Bucks in the blowout. Don't trust the Magic lineup. So interesting. So J Money's not on the Bucks. And after watching them in the bubble, we wonder in NHL and NBA whether these teams can just flip the switch and turn it on. And in NHL, it seems like they have been. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Bucks roll here. Reese says Bucks should smash, just missed the 11 line, so gonna stay away. I get that. J Money says honestly can't trust them in game one. Let's take a quick look at the lineup that we are dealing with on both sides here. It's too bad that we don't get to see Isaac. He would have been so useful in this game. All right, let's see who we are expected in the starting lineup. So Beach Boss says Aaron Gordon's out. I don't know if we have confirmation there. But the Magic are going to go with Fultz and Iwundu, Ennis, Gordon, and Vooch. And then for the Bucks, Bledsoe, Matthews, Middleton, Antetokounmpo, and Brooke Lopez. We don't know Mamba, but Beach Boss saying no Gordon. Two saying not yet confirmed for Gordon. Jesse Daly says if Gordon's in, it makes a big difference for Orlando. And two saying that most of these guys from Orlando Magic are dealing with some issues. Yeah, you'd have to want to take the. I wouldn't be comfortable taking the Bucks full game, and even at 8.5 first half, it's too big. I'm not going to be surprised if Milwaukee stomps on Orlando. But again, like J Money saying, he wants to see it happen. Something wrong with my microphone? Really? Yeah, not saying something wrong with my microphone. Let me just check. Oh yeah. Sorry. There we go. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know, Von Polo. Mike back in action. J Money says, I need to see the Bucks get right first. I hope that wasn't on that for too long. Lamont Williams says, man, Bucks going to win from the start to the end. Swerving, Bucks first quarter, Bucks first half, Bucks full game. Kanaskat says, I think the Bucks will play to win and improve. Ron Lofton, much love to you. Steve Priest says, I've seen quite a few guys on the Magic Bucks over. No, Mr. Gokster in the house. NHL is next. Yes, and our man Intex has been eating throughout the NBA restart on totals under 230, taking them over. And this is a spot that I was staring at as well. Jacob Schaefer going with the first half team total over 52 points. Yes, Ron Lofton, we are at 10 a.m. now. 10 a.m. start time, Ron, my man. Yeah, Beach Boss says it's 11 playoffs. Nobody half-stepping. So, 2 says we need to know the starting lineup. I guess the main thing for me here is that, yes, he has the Bucks, Magic over 56.5. So that's what, first quarter, obviously. I know, Ron. It's not. I hear you, my man. It's tough for the guys on the West Coast. I absolutely hear you. Let's see what we're dealing with. First half. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a first half over. I think that the Bucks are going to come out firing, and Fultz and Wondu will have to do the same. So I don't see Vooch slowing the game down. I don't see the Magic slowing the game down. The only concern I'd have with the full game over is if the Bucks are ahead by so much that they just kind of mail it in late. So, Michael Evelina, I love it. You're a great guy. So that's my look, and I'm going to make a move here. I'm going to take the first half over. First half over 112.5. That's gone up a point. I got to get that in soon. That's my look on Magic Bucks. First half over 112.5. Let's move on to Heat Pacers. This is going to be a very, very enjoyable series. Go to full game. And the underlying theme here is that TJ Warren can put up 30 points a game, but Jimmy Butler likes stopping him. Loves it. Eats that shit up. 2 says take Bucks minus 8.5 first half. It's not that I don't think they're going to get the minus 8.5 first half. It's a little high for me. It's just a little high. If I had a free play, sure, but at this point, I'm pretty comfortable with the. I'm pretty comfortable with just taking the first half over. 2 says big rivalry between Pacers and Heat. Reese said I like Pacers plus 4.5, but want to hear a breakdown. Viper MB plus 4.5, and Dennis Garcia took Miami minus 3.5 early in the week. A lot of people leaning towards these Indiana Pacers. Miami opens up at 3. They're now at 4.5. This total opened up at 216, and it's now at 215. Tori Coker saying Heat first quarter. And Dennis Garcia says, I think it's a boring series that Miami wins in 4 or 5. Heat pace in the bubble, 100.69 possessions a game. Pacers pace in the bubble, 102.38 possessions a game. Spencer Penny G, Penny Bombs, has Miami minus 2.5 first half and full game 4.5. Mark Unkefer says TJ Warren is not soft. Take Pacers money line. All right. So they split a pair of games in the bubble against each other. Started with Miami winning their third straight game over the Pacers badly, 114-92 on Monday. And then the Pacers beat the Heat 109-92. Warren looked very good and made the all-bubble team, but he looked very good early. Very good early. Looked a little, slowed down in the second half of the bubble 8 games. 2 saying, Jimmy, interesting stat between Pacers Heat. As from 2020, there's never been a close game between them. The last time when it was a close game, Miami won by 1 point in 2019. That is interesting. We in the field house says Heat big time. Alexi says leaning with Pacers money line as a value play. Tony Mang on Tyler Hero over 11.5. Me likey. Carlos Jetton on the Pacers. Dylan Turner on Heat first half. And Prince of the City said when the Pacers won, it was a scrub game. No doubt about that. Thank you, Mr. Gokster, my man. Fresno Grizzlies. All right, against the Heat. Warren shot 11 for 31, 35.5%, 3 for 11 on threes, and was held to 10.3 points per game. Warren got ejected in a game in January by the Heat. Butler blew him a kiss as he was leaving. And You just wish the Pacers fans had Sabonis in the lineup. Dutch Boy Fresh says Pacers 4.5 has to be the play. Has to be the play now. Tori Coker says, trust me, Heat will win game 1. I do think that the Heat will win game 1. I do think so. Bam versus Miles Turner going to be very interesting. Jake Crowder. And then Brogdon versus Goran Dragic. You know, this is going to be a watch for me. I'm going to watch this first game. You got Moss says Joe Ingles over 2.5 threes was easy money. He said he had to step up in Conley's absence, get that ish for game 2. We've said that all along about Ingles. He always does that when Conley's out of the lineup. Guillermo Zertucci in the house. What up, G? Britt Ware says under. Mr. Go says first quarter under. Yeah, that first quarter under is interesting. Mark Hunker says Miles Turner is the X factor. That first quarter under is a very interesting look. 54.5. With that being said, I don't think I want to watch game 1. So I'm not making a move on Heat Pacers. Robert Kahn says both defenses win with defense. There's Trotwam in the house. Much love, Trotwam. Let's move on to Thunder versus Rockets. Rockets pace 107.35 in the bubble, the fastest pace of any team in NBA. 2 is Chris Middleton over 1.5 threes. Yeah. Tori Coker says, remember, Heat shoot a lot of threes. That was actually what kept me off that first quarter under, because when they get hot from outside, when Duncan gets hot from outside, they can be dangerous. Thunder pace slow in the bubble, 101.06 possessions a game, a little over 6 possessions a game less than the Houston Rockets. Westbrook going to miss the first part of the series with strained right quadriceps, and Harden used to be slowed down by Dort, right? They would put Dort on him, and Dort was able to slow him down slightly, slow him down in a small sample size. So Dort is probably probably their best defender, and at times he was able to slow Harden down with a small sample size. But he's out, or likely out, with a sprained right knee in game 1. So that means that Schroeder, Diallo, and Ferguson are going to be on Houston, and I think that Chris Paul will intentionally slow things down, but I also think that the Thunder will win this basketball game. Jay Money says let's cash with the Thunder. I agree. Harden's player prop is at 37.5. Now I'm not going to sit here and take a 37.5. Dennis Garcia says OKC live if they fall behind. Trollam says OKC should get this game easily. And this 224.5, 225 is a low total. Alexi says it's playoffs. Rockets come out angry. The Rockets are going to want to speed everything up, and Chris Paul's going to want to slow everything down. And without Dort slowing down the Rockets, I think this game goes over. I think that this move towards the under is not going to work. I think OKC wins, and I think this game goes over, because that's what's going to happen. Harden's going to run. Tori Coker on Rockets first half. Dennis Garcia says if CP3 wants to slow things down, he will. He will, but that's not going to stop the Rockets from running nonstop, sprinting. I know Chris Paul will slow it down. We got the Gooch play of the day for Corey Simmons. Robert Kahn says if Eric Gordon is on his game, that's the X factor for the Rockets. No, I can't trust the Rockets offense, but I can trust the Rockets pace. So I'm going to do it. I'm not only going to take the Thunder full game. So the -1.5 is, I have to take the -1.5. Okay. So I'm going to take the Thunder -1.5. And then I'm going to take the over against the market move. So over 225. All right. Golf today on Harden under 37.5. I thought about that as well. Rob T says, come aboard the Thunder train, Jimmy. I'm in. Thunder -1.5 and over 225. All right, let's move on to Blazers, Lakers. Whew, this is going to be so much fun, man. So much fun. Dennis Garcia says, I wish I trusted Portland to get stops. And that's a very, very good point. Matt Janney says, Rockets offense much better without Westbrook. They will shoot more threes without his mid-range. Yeah, I mean, I'm on the over. 2 says Blazers money line. Yes, sir. It would be a fun bet to take the Blazers on the money line every game. It would be a fun bet. Now, I don't think I have the balls to do it. This total opened up at 229.5. It's up to 233 or 233.5. Clearly, if you want to get on the over, the time has passed. Lakers open up at -6. Now they're at -6.5. How high is this going to go? Because there's live Mike Perry. There's live UFC action tonight. 2 says, Jimmy, Blazers gelling quite well. They are offensively, but Dennis is right. Can they get stops? Both teams' pace wasn't very fast in the bubble. Portland 101.37 possessions a game, and the scores of their games were ludicrously high because they're not getting stops. Zach Collins already ruled out, so Gabriel will start in his place. Blazers were 1-2 against the Lakers during the regular season. Rondo also medically cleared to play, but not going to play game 1. Jay Money, great to see you, man. Great to have Jay Money in the chat. Respect. Tori Coker says Lakers, max bet. Lakers in my pocket, max bet. I'm going to watch this line, and if it gets too much higher, like, could we see a 7.5? Dennis Garcia is right. Portland's played 9 playoff games already. Lakers been resting. Dutch Boy Fresh says Blazer can't stay in front of anyone. Jacob Schaefer says Blazers defense is terrible. This is going to be a watch. Tony Ming, no, not right now. I was, if I'll add something, I'll add it on Twitter, but I do want to watch these games. I want to get an idea of whom I want to back. And game 1s of a series, I just don't feel like I can trust an angle, whether a player will step up or fall back. Beach Boss says Lakers were playing bad on purpose. Vibrant B says Blazers first half might be a sneaky play. Trotwam leaning towards the Blazers first quarter. It's This is going to be a watch for me. So this is my action. I'm on the Magic Bucks first half over 112.5. I'm on the Thunder minus 1.5 and full game over 225 in Thunder Rockets. And Mac asking for Pacers versus Heat. A lot of guys, a lot of cappers here on the Heat, and there's interest in the under. And Trotwam says Blazers first half 7-1-1. Well, we cashed on the Blazers first half against the Grizz very easily, and they didn't cover the full game like we talked about. Trotwam in the house. All right, there is NBA. There you have it. There you have it. All right. Let's move on to NHL. So we got 3 bets in NBA. Let's move on to NHL right now. In NHL, we've now hit 7 of our last 8. We are rolling very hot in NHL. 7 of 8. Started with that game 1, Montreal-Philadelphia, under 5 at plus 123. Montreal-Philadelphia, first period under 1.5 minus 120. We hit the Hurricanes, game 2, plus 125. Vancouver-St. Louis, game 1, over 5.5. Then we did the team total Magic. Capitals, team total under 2.5, plus 125 cash. Then we had the Stars losing. It was like they lost game 3 for us. That was our only loss. And the Avalanche, team total under 2.5, plus 115. Then we got our money back on the Stars. Beach Boss said, how about that third period Bruins comeback? It hurt me badly. I didn't have money on it, but my futures, and I don't have much money on the futures for the Hurricanes, but $100 at the beginning of the year to win the conference at 15-1 and the cup at 30-1, and I thought I was in a nice spot here. All right. So NHL overall, 120 and 136. So we're still 16 games under 500, but when your average line is plus 120, we're up 2.33 units on the year, and our ROI is 0.91 plus. Mr. Gog said Reimer had some bad flashbacks. Reimer got to get out of the net. Stays so deep in his net. Reese said Reimer teleported back to 2013. Von Polo says the Capitals have disappointed me. Well, let's start with Flyers, Canadians. So everything's been trending towards the under. But the Flyers power play is hitting at 4% in the playoffs. 4%. You know, everybody is watching these games and seeing Hart step up. I know he didn't step up in the one loss. But this total at 5, it just seems appealing to me to go over it. Slats45 says, I bet against the Habs all year, but they've outplayed the Flyers each game. Philly power play is atrocious. Price in the zone. Kotkaniemi coming out party. That's all right. That's all true. There's Bookie Lover Q in the house. Bookie Lover Q, we've missed you, man. Great to see you. Dylan Turner, first period under 1.5. I'm 6 for 6 on first period unders. Yeah, they're cashing. Dennis Garcia says, I thought minus 135 for game 3 on Philly was cheap. Minus 125 feels too good to be true. There's the king in the house. Matt Randall says, what can you get over 4.5 at? I will tell you right now. Oh, it's not good. Minus 200. That over 5.5 at plus 140. Look, the Flyers power play is not going to stay at 4%. It's just not that bad. Richie Rich says, I also see a scoring in the Philly game. So do I. Yeah, Z Dina, we just finished NBA. I'm on 3 looks. Thunder minus 1.5, over 225 in Thunder Rockets. And then first half over Magic Bucks over 112.5. I see scoring in this game. And I also think that this Flyers power play can come back and start playing better. This is not a 4% power play. So let's just see let's just go over their power play that's completely cost these Flyers Their power play: Couturier, Voracek, Konechny, Giroux, and Provorov. Then they got Hayes, Van Riemsdyk on the second line. Dina, I'm not sure, but we've got lots of NFL news coming out very shortly, my friend. Okay. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to take over 5 minus 115. I'm not going to get cute and do a 5.5. I'll keep that 5 up for the push. So Flyers, Canadians over 5 at minus 115. I just think that the Flyers power play will regress, positive regression. Mr. Go says Flyers 11 goals in the play-in series. I think it could be a matter of time. Should be more penalties called. All right, over 5 at minus 115 for Flyers, Canadians. Let's move on to Flame Stars. So Sam Bennett is playing so well. The King says the under is 3-0 in the Flyers series. Yeah, no, we've seen it. There was a push, though. Wasn't that game 2 just a 5? So we got our money back. Well, less than some juice. There's Sammy B in the house. Great to see you, Sammy. Mr. Gokes on Flyers team total over 2.5. I want to be able to get goals from both teams. Reese said I had to take Flames. Bennett on fire. Sammy B, big Raps win. Yeah, we looked spectacular, Sammy. Bennett's been excellent. But I still see the Stars as a better hockey team. ZZ Dina giving us some soccer looks. Let's pop this up. Thank you. All right, there we go. Flames, Stars. R2D2 says Dallas wins 4-2. The Stars penalty killing is being terrible. The Flames power play is being very strong. Again, I just don't see that happening. Dennis Garcia said, sure, if the refs give them 6 straight power plays. I don't trust the Dallas Stars. And Jermaine Chavez saying all favorites in basketball, baseball, hockey, all winners yesterday. Crazy. Yeah, it's nuts when that happens. It's nuts when that happens. Gate Pass Key, Flames, Dallas over 5.5. I think that makes sense. I think there's going to be goals. Let's see what we are dealing with here in this Flames Dallas spot. It's at 5 as well. How could the Calgary Dallas game be at 5? Porch Monkey says the Stars suck. Steve Priestess again, Ben, biggest flakes in the league. Gate Pass Key says I wouldn't talk anyone off Flames puck line. I think there's going to be more goals. See what my book is offering me on this total. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Let's go over to Dallas. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think the over just looks good. I think there's going to be goals. I'm surprised we're getting an offer on a 5. So it's juiced, but we take it. All right. Robert Cherry, I see this as a different – I hear that. And I remember Dallas was an under team all year long. They're not anymore. They're not an under team anymore. And they know the Flames are going to score. Both goaltending – I mean, Talbot, I just don't trust Talbot over the long term. I think that 5 is – I don't think that 5 sticks around. I think we need to bet it. All right, let's move on to Capitals, Islanders. Capitals power play, 19.1%. They're penalty killing 95.1%, and they're down 3-0, about to be swept. Billy Bloodbath, my friend, my pleasure. Slats, how many games do you consider a recency bias? Well, 1 is enough. But I watched the Flames and Stars series, and I know there was the 2-0 game. But even that game was wide open early. Richie Rich says, best line you will ever see for Washington, and I'm taking it. Are we going to get Backstrom in the lineup? What's the last word on Backstrom? Do we know if Backstrom will be in the lineup? Do we have any? Can anyone give us the last news they have on Backstrom? If Backstrom plays, I will take the Capitals. But if Backstrom doesn't play, I'm not going to back the Capitals. Birdie says, can that experienced Islanders team close out today? Fourth one is the toughest to win, staying off this game. CK says he's out. So New York has outscored Washington 6-0 after the second period. The Capitals took 6 shots in the third period in overtime. So I am not going to sit here and believe that the Capitals are going to stop this from happening unless Backstrom comes back. And I don't even need a healthy Backstrom to come back. I just need him in that dressing room. I just need him. I just need everyone to see him and have hope. So that's going to be my spot on this Capitals game. No Backstrom, no bet. Dylan Turner says, I really don't think Capitals care about winning this. They don't want to get embarrassed like this. Nobody wants to get embarrassed like this. Oh, no one's saying that the Caps are going to win. Matt Randall says if Caps win tonight, sprinkle on them for the series. Well, 4 out of 192 teams down 3-0 have come back in NHL. And look, they're fun bets to make. Like, look, if they're down 3-1, you can bet $50 on them and clear a K. So, yeah, I read that he skated, but so that's going to be my plan. So I take the Capitals if Backstrom suits up. All right, let's move on to Blackhawks, Golden Knights. This series has not been the over series that people were expecting, and I've stayed away from it. Blackhawks got a big win in Game 4, and Corey Crawford, who's not very good, seems to step up in very important situations. 48 saves. He looked very good. Brady said Blackhawks showed up because they have a bunch of older guys with pride. Eileen Washington doing the same. I think I agree with that. But I'm telling you, no Backstrom, no bet for me. R2D2 Finland, much love, my friend. So Crawford, whenever he's facing elimination, he steps up. 91.8 save percentage, 2.39 goals against average when facing elimination. And the Golden Knights aren't scoring on the power play. They're 0 for 9 with the man advantage. This year, they were good, the regular season, 22%. And the Blackhawks penalty killing was good. And hasn't been quite as good in the playoffs. But that was because of a very high-scoring series against the Oilers. Robert Cherry, I'm very concerned. Very concerned about the Knuckleheads. That was a legit loss. The Blues were better than us. Robert Allen says, I'd like the Knights to show up big and close out Chicago today. I remember when the Knucks were up 3-0 on them, and the Blackhawks took it to a Game 7. It's not that I'm not going to trust the Knights, who are a much better team than the Blackhawks. The issue for me, I shouldn't say much, right? Just a better team than the Blackhawks. But I'm not going to take the Knights at minus 210. I'm not going to take the Knights minus 1.5. Richie Rich says Vegas money line regulation day for me. Vegas outplayed them badly. I agree with that idea, but Crawford has confidence, and so do the Blackhawks. So I expect the Golden Knights to win, but I don't want them at minus 210. And then from a total perspective, the 5.5, I could understand why you go over, but the Blackhawks know that if they get in a high-scoring battle with the Knights, they're going to lose. Connor Mack says Blackhawks will fight. Blackhawks have had bad power play too. Their power play's been atrocious during the regular season. It's been a little better in the bubble. Michael Orvalino on a third period over. That makes a ton of sense. That's a Babano look that he loves. Okay. There you have it. There you have it. Flyers, Canadians over 5 at minus 115. Flame Stars over 5 at minus 130. And if Backstrom plays, I'll bet the Capitals. But I'm going to wait to find out. So let's go over all of our action on today's card. It's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a fun day. And we have great success on the first day of the week. We've had great success on the first day of the week. Now it's Tuesdays. It used to be Mondays. But Mariners first 5 plus 200. Marlins team total over 3.5 at minus 130. Blue Jays, Orioles first 5 over 5.5. Full game over 9.5. Brewers, Twins, first 5 under 5. Cubs, first 5 minus 0.5, minus 130. That's my MLB. In NBA, Magic, Bucks, first half over 112.5. Off Heat, Pacers. And then I have Thunder minus 1.5 and the over 225 in Thunder, Rockets. And then in NHL, I have those two overs. And I will be making a move on the Capitals if they have Backstrom. There we go. Birdie liking the new time slot. Thank you guys so much for joining with us 2 hours early. 2 hours earlier, but you know what? Odds just gives us the odds.com. Just, there's no pressure on, we can cap for hours, and that's what we just capped for 2 hours and 6 minutes. So big shout out to odds.com who let us be us. Cap. And we have nothing without you guys in the chat, and that's something that Odds knows so well. They respect you guys enormously, and I'm so thankful to roll with you guys. 1 for the money, 2 for the show. Yes, Billy Bloodbath, Noli Knows will be on the show tomorrow, and it's a very early wake-up time for him. Very, very, very early wake-up time. Matt Randall, Taint Play of the Day, back in action. I love it. Matt Randall, now it's early enough to get Matt Randall on the show. Dutch Boy Fresh, Alex Ramirez, Leo Leon, Dennis Garcia says bye-bye, Chicago. Johnny Cage, Spenny Penny Bombs, Billy Bloodbath, Beach Boss. Beach Boss has a huge ticket. If you guys follow Beach Boss on Twitter, you should. He's got a multi $1,000 ticket up for grabs tonight. Slats, nice first 10 a.m. show going from that respect. Slats. Intex, Birdie, Yenny Toon, Robert Allen, Robert Cherry. I love you guys. Michael Irvalina, Johnny K. Richie Rich. I love it. Let's get paid in full. Tomorrow, Noli Knows will be joining us. On Thursday, Babano will be joining us. 25K up for grabs for Beach Boss. Astute Chaos in the house. Let's pop up Astute Chaos's action. There's Dommy Gun. Let's have ourselves a day today. Kobe Fist, Jordan Fist. We're running hot right now. Let's keep it going. Lecce, hey, those bookmakers! Get that cash.